Hello everyone and welcome to my channel On the Hook Crochet, where we talk about wearable crochet style. And today let's find out what's on the hook. Well, I finally finished my Christmas sweater and I'm going to model it for you today. I'm really excited about it. It's nice and warm, but it's also, I've got the neck cut down just a little bit so it won't be too hot for you girls that don't like things around your neck. And I totally understand that. I'm calling this my Joyful Flower. That's a beautiful name of a beautiful flower, which is the poinsettia, and that is a Christmas flower. It's on, it grows at Christmas time, and you can actually keep them going all year, but it's quite a task. But mostly at Christmas we see these beautiful flowers in floral arrangements, in centerpieces, and all around at Christmas time, and I just really love that flower. I made this sweater for my viewers and subscribers because I love these colors. And I really enjoyed making the sweater. See, it is a design that's almost like a color block. And that's what I was looking for with this particular sweater. I wanted to outline the colors that I was using in black. Black is a beautiful neutral color that you can use to separate colors in your sweater. So if you decide to make a color block sweater in different design, then you can outline it in black, and they turn out to be really pretty. I like the way that the black sets it off. Now I did put a black line around the neck. It's not huge, it's not done in V-stitch. This whole sweater is done in V-stitch except for some trim, and I will stand up and show it to you. I'm wearing it with a red knit shirt underneath, and I'm going to show you that. See, it's a red knit shirt, and it kind of helps the red be even redder, and it's comfortable. It's just a long sleeve knit shirt that I had in my closet, and I thought I would try this instead of black. But black would be also very beautiful behind the green and the red, so you could wear it with either color knit shirt. What I did was I made the sweater in red, and then I made the top of the sleeves and the neck area around both sides, front and back, in the green, and I just thought that was a nice way to set off the red. I didn't want a completely red sweater. I wanted to accent it with green, and then the black was just kind of a natural way to set these two colors apart. I did not put anything at the hem except 3 rows of single crochet, and that kind of holds the hem down. In the sweater being a V-stitch, which is a little bit more of an open stitch, that kind of puts a little band around the bottom. So I thought that was enough for that. And then I also did the sleeves obviously in green, and then I outlined them in black like I did the neckline. And this is actually 2 rows of single crochet just like it is around the neck. And I made the neck a little bit wider and a little bit higher than I usually do. I usually come down with the neck, but I didn't want to come into the red because then it would be more difficult to shape the neck, and I wanted to make it very, very easy. So what I did was I left the neck kind of open, and then I put several rows of single crochet in green around the neck in a smaller hook, of course, and then I just touched it off with a little bit of black at the very top. So I just wanted that to pull the sweater in just a little bit, give it a little bit more of a neckline, but not so much that it dipped into the other color. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep it kind of straight. I did not shape the back of the neck at all. It came straight up, and there are seams that go down the middle of the sleeve that attach the front to the back, and then there's also a seam in the underarm that connects the sleeves together, and then the front and the back fabric together on each side. So that's how the sweater is constructed. Those are a little bit about the design elements. What I used to make this, and if you're one of my regular viewers and subscribers, you will know that I've talked about it so many times, but I made it from Caron Simply Soft Party Yarn, which is this color, Red Sparkle. This is Red Sparkle. And then I made the same Caron Simply Soft. I have another skein somewhere, but this is the green that I used, and it's called Spring Sparkle. Spring Sparkle in Caron Simply Soft yarn. And then for the black trim, I couldn't find any Caron Simply Soft in black, and so I used Red Heart Metallic, Red Heart with Love, metallic. It's very, very soft, just like the Caron Simply Soft. So those three fit together very, very well. And I like those together. I think they complement each other, and whoever designed the coloring for these yarns was thinking about that because they're very beautiful together. Now, one thing that I did, I used 3 different hooks, and one was a beginning chain hook. Of course, if you're familiar with my patterns, you know that we have a fabric hook that we use for the main fabric, and then we have a trim hook that we use that's a little bit smaller than the fabric hook. And then we have a chain up hook or a chain hook that we use when we chain out for the sleeves. So when we chain up for the bottom of the fabric, front and back, we would use a larger hook so that the chain doesn't pull. Now, some people say you can just chain loosely, but it's easier to use a larger hook, and I'll tell you why. Because your stitches and your chains are going to be more even if you just use a bigger hook than if you try to use a smaller hook and chain loosely. Well, your chains are not going to all be the same size. That's just my preference. I prefer to use just a larger hook. And sometimes if it's really pulling and you notice that it is, rip it out and use 2 sizes larger hook to chain up. But usually you don't need to do that. Mostly you can just use 1 size larger hook. Now, for this particular sweater, I used a K hook, which is 6.5 millimeter. That's my clover there. 6.5 millimeter to chain up. And then I used a J hook to make the fabric, which is 6.0 millimeter. That's a 6.0 millimeter hook. And then for the trim, I used an I, which is 1 size smaller, and that is a 5.5 millimeter hook for the trim. So it pulled it in just a little bit, and that's what I was going for. I don't like my necklines to be floppy. I like them to be pulled in and how they fit next to your body. You don't want them too loose because then they'll just stretch up and then they'll stand up like this. They won't look nice. I don't like that look. So I always use 1 size smaller hook for the trim and the trim around the sleeves as well. Now, what you can do with these sleeves is when I chained out to make the sleeve, I made sure that the sleeve was long enough it went right to my wrist, and then when I added the 2 rows of single crochet, it only added a little under ½ of an inch, so that's not a big deal. So I really basically chained up to where I wanted the sleeve to fall, and then the 2 lines of black made it just a little bit longer. And because I did those in a smaller hook, then I can roll my sleeves up just a little bit like I've done before, and I've talked about this in my other sweater patterns, that you can roll the sleeves up and they'll actually stay where you put them if your trim is just a little bit smaller and it's a little bit tighter because you've used, in this case, the I hook. I used the I hook to do this black 2 rows of single crochet so that it would stay put when I rolled it up like that, and it would look nice. And you can do that, and it makes the sweater a little more cool. You don't have to have sweater all the way down to your wrist that way. You can roll it up. It looks best when you just roll it up once. And you can roll it up a long way or just a little tiny cuff. You can do it however you want. But it seems to be pretty good about staying put when you roll it up like that. So I really like that about the sweater. Now, for your cold-natured girls, which I am one, I made a cowl to go with this, and I like the way it turned out. You can like it or not. I will put it in the pattern and you can make it if you want to, but I really like it. I think it looks pretty. I made it to match the sweater, of course, and these are the same colors I used in the sweater. They are red, green, and red with a black trim, and I used the black trim as well between the colors and also as an edging on the cowl. So it looks nice on with the sweater. I think it looks good. I like it, and it will keep my neck warm if I want to wear this out somewhere. And if I get hot, I can just take it off. So instead of attaching a huge collar to the sweater, which is what my design was to begin with. I actually had a cowl neck design in mind. That's why it took me so long to make the sweater. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make it plain, easy to make, and then you just make the cowl to go over it. And honestly, the Caron Simply Soft is very soft. It is a very soft yarn, and it feels good in a cowl around your neck. I've never made it for a cowl, but it really is comfortable. So I thought it might be best to have a removable collar, which you don't have to make. You don't have to make this at all. I thought it was a nice addition to the sweater. I really like rolling up the sleeves. I thought that was a nice touch, but you don't have to do that. I like them as they are. They're kind of a bell sleeve. They're really all just one width around everywhere, and they're actually crocheted right into the sweater, so they're very easy to do. And the V-stitch is easy to do. It is not difficult, and I added in the pattern what you do at the end of the rows, and they're all standard. Every time you get to the end of the row, you do the same thing, and it's not difficult. And the stitch is actually very pretty when you combine it with this party yarn. It looks really, really nice. So I wanted to bring this pattern to you today. If you're in the community, you will already have an email in your inbox, and that will have a very nice discount for this pattern or anything in my shop. Actually, it's good on everything in my shop for a couple of weeks, and then you can use the discount that just came in your community sign up email, and you can use that anytime when you go out to my Etsy shop. So I want my community to have the discounts, and there are other people who buy from my Etsy shop that don't see me on YouTube. They just find me on Etsy and they buy my patterns, which is fine. But if you're in the community, you're a member of the community, you should get a discount. So that's why I send that out in an email. Now the pattern is already on Etsy. I put it on Etsy last night, and I always do that just to make sure everything's good before I release the pattern to the YouTube viewers. So I'm going to release this video. It's Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, and you can go out and use that email. And if you're a member of the community, you can use your email discount. If you're not, you can go down and sign up and use that discount that comes back into your email to use on the Etsy shop anytime. So I hope you like this Christmas sweater, my Joyful Flower. I hope you like that. I'll put the cowl pattern at the end of the Joyful Flower pattern, and then I'm also going to release the cowl as a separate pattern, and I'm just calling it Joyful Flower Cowl. And someone just browsing through my Etsy shop might want to just buy the cowl pattern, so I'm going to release that separately. But it will be incorporated into the Joyful Flower pattern that I'm releasing today. So just wanted to let you know that, and I hope you're having a wonderful weekend and that you had a great Thanksgiving. I had a great time, and just wanted to hop on here and introduce my new pattern to everyone who watches me on YouTube. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Thank you for sharing my videos. Thank you for joining up on my Facebook group. Thank you so much for interacting with me and On the Hook Crochet. I appreciate everyone who watches and subscribes. So have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday when we'll find out what's on the hook.